atong schedule okay sa original katong Friday na 3 to 6 p.m. Kana gyud para atong i-follow, okay? So kato siya for my para lang sa college lang na consumption na gi-break na mo inyong section. Kay actually wala man gyud tay policy sa large class, no? So but kuan lang mi ng mga teachers na isud man po na magpinagsatag sa mi class na pwede naman unta mo isagol. Okay, so still our schedule is Friday 3 to 6 p.m. unless otherwise announced. No? Okay, so so it's 4:10. I think I could start our discussion. This will be a brief discussion, mga 1 hour maximum. No? Okay. Okay, so allow me to present. I will off my cam, turn off para di mag-lag. Sa mani. Sorry, wait lang. No problem. Cannot share my screen. I don't know why. Wait. Wait lang. I cannot. Share. Wait lang. Hindi ko ka-share screen. Speaker. Oh. Settings. Share screen. Wait lang guys, kay there seems to be a problem. Dili ko ka-share sa akong screen. Ay, nako. Nawala na. It's sorry kaayo. My problem I don't know kung sa'yo. Kisay na ay wait sa guys parang di ko ka-share screen. Wait sa. Bear with me. I'm very sorry. Something wrong sa akong laptop. Nakita ninyo ang screen? Wala may nakita.
Wala pa, ma'am.
Wala gisungog yun tayo. It's Mm.
Sorry, nagstorya. Nagstorya ako. Okay, I was talking. Wala ko na-realize na ka-mute day ko. Sorry, no. So, can you hear me na, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Um,
Okay. So again, my apologies, no, for the technical problems, technical issues we have right now. My other laptop is not working. I don't know why. Dili siya mo share ang iyang screen. So I have to use another laptop. Okay. Okay. So for this afternoon, I'm gonna discuss about inventory management. This is actually the third topic, no, for this course. And let me start with the objectives of this topic. Okay, first we wanted to define the term inventory. Then we wanted to describe the different functions of inventory, the different types of it. Then how we classify inventory according to its importance, using the ABC approach. And then lastly, we wanted to describe the basic economic order quantity model and how it is used, no, to derive optimal order quantity, which is very important in inventory management. Okay, so an inventory is actually defined as a stock or store of goods. So kung nakatisting na mo og work in a fast food chain, for instance, you might have heard the word inventory, no? Like asking, oy, unsa na pilay inventory nato karon? Have you done your inventory? Something like that, no? Or even in mga company, in all types of company, inventory is really existing. Because of course, inventory is there. Without inventory, a company cannot operate, no? So regardless of the business, okay, whether you are a company that engages in goods production or service production, each company has its own unique set of inventories. So what do I mean by that? So depending on the kind of business that a company is engaged in, that company will carry certain inventories, no, related to their business. So for instance, in a manufacturing company, okay, typically that company would carry raw materials, either parts and components, especially if they are into assembly, mga partially finished items, and then the finished goods. Okay, like for instance, no, in canned goods na manufacturing, like mga pineapple drinks, sliced pineapple. So, what do you expect na gina-carry nila na inventory? Of course, they would carry the raw material, the pineapple itself. Then, the mga metal cans used to hold these pineapple slices and other components. Okay. So when we talk about department stores, if you go into SM, Gaisano, Robinsons, you looking around you, what you see are all inventory. So the item that they sold, that they sell, like clothing, furniture, mga household items, they are all called as inventory. Okay? And then when you go to the hospitals, although hospitals are service in nature, meaning they offer services, still they do carry inventory like medicines, drugs, surgical supplies, which they use not to treat patients. Okay. So the challenge though for company is really how to have the right amount of inventory. Okay, in order to maintain or achieve competitive priorities most efficiently. So by right amount, basically, it just means to say that a company should hold inventory in such a way that there is no overstocking or no understocking. So pasabot sa overstocking meaning you are holding too much inventory. Dili pud ta pwede mag-understocking or you are holding too little inventory. Okay? Nga naman, because one, it will have implications on the cost, especially if you do overstocking. What really is being affected sa company is the cost incurred in holding too much inventory. Later on, mas ma-explain pa na siya. And on the other hand, if you go with understocking, of course, what will be affected is mga opportunity cost, okay, and then the level of satisfaction of the customers. Okay, kasi sa understocking man good, it means you don't have the necessary amount of materials to provide what the customer needs. For instance, if you go to let's say a department store and then you are looking for a particular item, but that particular item is not available. So it means to say that there is understocking of inventory in that particular store. So you as a customer, because you are expecting to find that particular item in that store, but you were not able to find it, then there might be a level of dissatisfaction on your part. Okay, and that's one issue of understocking, the level of satisfaction given to your customers. So the challenge really for companies is to have the right amount in such a way that there will be no overstocking and no understocking of inventory. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, now we have the inventory can actually be classified into independent and dependent items. Okay, when we say independent items, these are actually items that are ready to be sold or used. Meaning to say, these are already finished items. Okay, so as you can see in this chart here, the one in the orange box, okay, the one on the top, is an independent item or the finished product. Okay, so in this case, for finished item or independent demand items, you can forecast the demand. Okay, pwede mo siya i-anticipate how much kaya ang demand for that kind of product. On the other hand, the one in the green boxes are what we call as dependent demand items. And from what you can see in this chart, okay, these green parts or the green boxes are actually components or parts, okay, which are utilized in order to make your finished product. So basically, in other words, dependent demand items are components of finished products. And these dependent demand items the demand can be calculated. Okay? Because since these are components and parts, so makaibaluta pilay kailangan, no? Pila ka components and parts needed to make this finished items. Okay? So for instance here, a computer for instance, the finished product na computer, okay, ang final product yun, can be classified as an independent demand. Okay? And then the components utilized to assemble, to make this computer are all called as your dependent demand items. Okay? Understood? Any questions before I proceed? Okay. None. Okay. Now, there are
None
different
so
types
far,
of
ma'am.
inventories. Okay? We have the raw materials and purchase parts. So depending, no, like I said, depending on the company and what business they are engaged in, they will carry certain types of inventories. And that type of inventories could be raw materials and purchase part. As to what type of raw material, we still don't know. Depende siya sa company. Okay, so example, kung ang imuhang company is a manufacturer of kanang mga fiberglass na surfboards. So most likely the raw material that the company will carry will be, of course, the fiberglass, mga foam, okay, polyurethane foam, mga paint, okay, resin, etc. Okay? And then we also have inventories can also be partially completed goods or mga work in process. Okay? Basically, work in process meaning wala pa na sila nahuman na product. A byproduct of one process that will still have to undergo another process. Okay? So muna siyang work in process or partially completed goods. Then we have what we call as the finished good inventories. Okay? Kanang human na gyud and ready to be sold or to be utilized. Then we have tools and supplies. It might be tools or that are needed to make something like mga wrench bar, okay, etc. Or we also have maintenance and repair inventories. Then lastly, what we call as pipeline inventory. Okay, and this pipeline inventory are what you call as the inventory which are already in transit, okay, to warehouses, distributors, or customers. Meaning to say, finished goods na sila na ready for distribution or kamulo ng padulong, no, sa warehouses, distributors, or customers. Okay. Now, there are several functions of inventory. Okay. The first function of inventory is one, to meet anticipated customer demand. Okay. So this customer could either be internal or external. When we say external, they are the kanang users, no, of finished product. Okay. And for instance, if you are a customer, if you go to the grocery store, for instance, and then you are looking for a bag of flour, okay, that bag of flour is an inventory, okay, and that bag of flour is being held in inventory in the grocery store so that when a customer needs it, then the grocery store can give it to the customer, okay, and that is what you call as the demand of the customer, okay, and when we say internal naman, it's actually inventory or internal customers are your customers within the company. Okay, so for instance, if let's say that department A, okay, is a customer of department B. Okay, meaning to say si department A na siya mga kinahanglan na mga produkto from department B. Okay, pero they are within one company. Okay, so Department A basically is anticipating that Department B can produce their expected demand. Okay, because without it, it might be that they cannot work on their product because of the lack of inventory or stocks being produced by Department B. Okay. Now, the second function of inventory is to smooth production requirements. Now, this happens, guys, if a company is working on products that are seasonal in nature. Okay. So basically, if a company is working on products in seasonal in nature, what they do is before the season comes in, they will have to build up inventories. Okay. If you remember our discussion in the last topic, no, katong manufacturing strategies, katong make to stock strategy. If you remember that Lego company, right, they have forecasted that in December, the demand of Lego toys is 40% higher. So basically, before December comes in, Lego already is building up inventories. Okay? Wala pa na December, let's say July, August, September, they are already building up inventories. So that when the season comes in, when December comes in, everything is smooth already. Okay? Dili na sila mag-apas, okay, sa demand sa December. And then the third function of inventory is to decouple operations. Basically, it just means to say that inventory is existing, okay, is existent in order to buffer any problems in production. Okay, kung may mga breakdowns sa equipment, mga downtime, okay, the inventory is there as a buffer para continuous gapon ang operations. Okay? Then the fourth function is to reduce the risk of stockouts. So inventory, okay, can be held in excess, meaning pwede nimo padaghanan a little bit ang imong inventory, which is what we call as safety stocks. Okay? Okay, companies sometimes hold safety stocks. They are still a type of inventory in order to hedge, no, against mga kanang delayed deliveries or mga unexpected increases in demand. Okay? Kaya sometimes, no, kung mag-order ka o let's say raw material from another country, China or Japan for instance, there might be problems, no, in the shipping or let's say na mga weather conditions na dili makaabot ang imong delivery on time. So there's already a delay in delivery. Now in that case, kung na delay in delivery, of course, your operations might be affected if you don't have safety stock. Meaning to say sa safety stocks, they are stocks which are in excess, no, of expected demand, so that when there are variabilities in demand or variabilities in lead time, then you will be able to still continue with the operation using the safety stock. Okay? Then the next function is to take advantage of order cycles. So basically, what you want really is to have the least cost, no, when purchasing or carrying inventory. Okay? And in that case, you have to take advantage of what we call as economic lot sizes. Okay? So that you will be able to order just the right amount of inventory at the right time. Okay? And that's what we call as periodic order cycles. Okay? And then the next one, the function of inventory is to hedge against price increases. So usually a firm will have to, sometimes they take advantage of kanang buying in bulk so that when there is a price increase, then they will not be affected too much of the increase, no? So for instance, of what's happening right now, right? Kanang tawag ani, gataas ang prices sa gasolina. Okay, I think you have heard in the news, most of the consumers, kanang mga sakyanan, what they do before the price increase, magpatubil na sila, magpag full tank na sila, no? Kay kung magpalangay-langay sila, maabtan sila sa price increase, then of course, dako na kay na siya nagasto. Okay? And the same thing with firms or company. If they hear na there will be a substantial price increase, then what they do is they will have to purchase more than, okay, than what they usually order. Okay? Okay, the next function of inventory is to permit operations. Basically, what it means to say is that inventory is there so that you can do something. You can work. Okay? Like for instance, having raw materials. If you're gonna stock raw materials, it's because it will be utilized for operations. Okay? If you're gonna purchase mga raw parts and components, it's because it's gonna be utilized, okay, in the production of certain goods, okay, or services. Okay, that's what it means by to permit operations. And then lastly, the function of inventory is to take advantage of quantity discounts. So usually suppliers, okay, usually give give discounts on large orders. Okay, munang ginaingon natong mga wholesaler price, no, compared to retailer price. So mas dako ang discount na ihatag the larger you order. But like I said, careful sa mga large orders because it might it might cost you later in the end, especially sa holding costs or carrying costs. Okay. Now, in inventory management, as I have said earlier, no, sa introduction pa lang, when I defined inventory, what the company really want is to have the right amount of inventory. And basically, that's the objective of inventory management, how to achieve the right amount of inventory. And basically, when we wanted to have the right amount of inventory, it all boils down to two things. Okay? Ganun kailangan natong right amount of inventory. One, because of the level of customer service. Okay? The level of customer service, akong gingon ganina, na inventory is there in order to satisfy the demand of the customers. So basically, as a company, as a firm, okay, you need to have the right goods, okay, in sufficient quantities, in the right place at the right time, so that you can, okay, satisfy the demands of the customer. Okay, and having the right goods, depending on the goods that you offer, depending on the quantities that you have, okay, then that will affect the customer service. Meaning to say, if you don't have the goods, no, needed by the customer, it might affect their level of satisfaction. Like, as akong giingon ganina. Kung nangita si customer gingani, nag-order siya ani, pero wala di ay, then it might affect their level of satisfaction. Mura gud nagmukaon kag restaurant bitaw guys na nasa menu, no? Nakabutang sa menu. Then nag-order ka. Then din ka sa waiter, ay ma'am, wala mi ingana. Kay wala mi ingani. Okay, ning order lugar ka og crabs. Pero niyon din si waiter, ma'am, we cannot provide you with that, no? Kay wala mi crabs. So what do you feel? Okay, so there's already the level of satisfaction of the customers already decreases. Or let's say, ning order ka o ni adto kag let's say Apple Store, okay? And then nakagipangita na model sa cellphone. Then when you arrive there, it's not available, okay? So there's already the level of dissatisfaction, okay? Because you are expecting something, but then the firm or company was not able to provide it to you. Okay, and then the second objective of inventory management, okay, why we wanted to have the right amount of inventory is because of the cost. Okay, take note that holding inventory, ordering inventory is associated with cost. Okay, there is a cost of ordering and carrying inventories. Okay, meaning to say, if you're gonna keep inventory, then it's associated with holding cost. If you're gonna order inventory, then it's associated with ordering costs. Then as much as possible, you have to keep them at a minimum. Dili pwede na dagko kayo imong order. Okay? Because kung dagko po kayo imong order, later makita ninyo sa graph, if you order too much, then it will have an effect on the carrying cost sa pag-keep sa inventory. And then if you're gonna order too little, pero you frequently order, then it will also have an effect on the ordering cost. So if we combine this, basically, the objective of inventory management is to achieve satisfactory levels of customer service while keeping inventory cost within reasonable bounds. By inventory cost, we mean the carrying cost, the ordering cost, and even the shortage cost. Now, therefore, with that objective of inventory management, there are two fundamental decisions that you have to make, okay? And that is the timing and size of orders. Meaning to say, for the timing is when do you order, and then how much to order. Okay? Mudyo na siya always pangutana. When to order and how much to order. Okay? Mantra na sa inventory management. When to order, how much to order. Now, so atong tubago, no? Then why inventory management is very important. Okay? Now, let's go to, ato siyang baliktaron. Okay? Why do we have to avoid poor inventory management? Because basically, if you're gonna have poor inventory management, it all affects your operations. Okay? It impacts the operation, the marketing, and the finance. Okay? If you remember topic 1, the interrelatedness of the three functions in a company, operations, marketing, and finance. They're all interrelated to each other. Now, inventory really is a core operations, okay, of the company. Okay? Nga naman, because inventory, as I've said earlier, it permits operations, right? Without inventory, you cannot do anything. Without inventory, you cannot make any products. Okay? So basically, let's say that, for instance, in this example na lang, para klaro yun. Okay? Let's say that your company is involved in making fiberglass surfboards. Okay? And then, the raw materials needed for this, let's say you need a polyurethane foam, you need a fiberglass, either carbon or glass, then you need resin. And let's say that there's a customer order of 500 surfboards. But since you were not able to expect, no, wala mo naka-anticipate na nadaying ana na order, then your raw materials is not available, or let's say you have understock, okay? Wala dili enough ang inyong raw materials to make the 500 fiberglass surfboards. So how does it affect your company? Basically, one, your operations is already hampered. Okay? Na stopping sa operations. You cannot produce without the raw material. Second, it already diminishes customer satisfaction. Nga naman. Because the customer expected something na siya demand, but you were not able to satisfy it because of the lack of inventory. Okay? The third, okay, it might lead to increased operating costs. Anong increase in operating costs? Because let's say that delayed ni abot ang inyong inventory. Okay? But because you need to deliver, okay, the final product in a short time, okay, nakulangan mong oras because of the delayed inventory. So, mag-apas mo sa production. Okay? So, there will be overtime. Okay? Or let's say, fast track ninyo ang shipment. So, that's an additional cost sa company. So, there's already an increase in operating cost. Okay? Nasabtan ninyo guys ang implication. Okay, I hope that's understood. Now, poor inventory management, okay, other than what I mentioned, can also result in understocking or overstocking. Meaning to say, wala lang po nagpasabot no na kung na poor inventory management, understocking tanan. No. Sometimes it also leads to overstocking. Okay? Like I said, do not go with understocking. Also, do not go with overstocking. Because overstocking also has a price tag. Okay? And usually, overstocking, ang iyang implication, it takes up space. Okay? Sometimes, let's say, example, poor ang yung inventory management. Wala ninyo gi-base sa forecast ang inyong pag-order sa mga inventory. And let's say, nag-order mo 1,000 barrels of oil. Okay? So, having too much inventory requires you to hold that inventory in a warehouse. Okay? And having a warehouse is additional cost. Okay? Kung dili enough in your warehouse for what you ordered, malamang mag-rent na po kag another warehouse just to hold your inventory. And that's already another cost. Or sometimes, katunta imong gigamit na kwarta to buy the inventory, gigamit nimo no, pwede yung na siya ma-utilize in another productive activities elsewhere. Okay? Those are the reasons. Okay, I hope that's understood. Is that clear? Do you have questions before I proceed? Let me know ha, basi to pass na kay ko. Now, we've been talking about inventory management, or why we need to have good inventory, what are the objectives of inventory management. So the question now lies to, okay, how do we achieve good inventory management? What are the requirements for inventory management to be effective? Okay, so we have five requirements. First and foremost, a company should have a system to keep track of the inventory. Okay? So, dapat naka-inventory counting systems. Later on, ato na siyang tagsa-tagsahon. The second requirement, you need to have a reliable forecast of demand. Third, you need to have knowledge of lead times and lead time variability. Fourth, you should have estimates of inventory costs, such as holding costs, ordering costs, and shortage costs. And then lastly, you need to have a system of classifying inventory. Okay, like I said, tagsa-tagsahon na to. For the first one, the inventory counting systems. Okay, the inventory counting systems are there to keep track of your inventory. And there are two types of inventory counting system. We have the periodic inventory system and the perpetual inventory system. Sa periodic inventory system, muning classic, no? Sa una, usually ginagamit din sa mga ginagmay na mga tindahan, okay? Mga small retailers. So what happens in a periodic inventory system? In a periodic inventory system, okay, it involves the physical counting of items in inventory, which is made at periodic interval. Okay, in order to decide how much to order of each item. Okay, example, para maklaro ninyo. I think, kabalo mo, no, how a sari-sari store is, usa ng sari-sari store. So sa sari-sari store, usually what they do is the periodic inventory system. Okay, as I have remembered before, no, naman may gamay na sari-sari store sa una when I was still young. Okay, so what we usually do every week, mag-ingon na din akong mama na, okay, ihapan na, pila na lang nabilin sa hotdog, sa Biplop, sa Youngstown, okay, sa toothpaste, nga na, no? So, that's a physical counting, okay? Para may bawaan mo kung pila na lang dayon imong paliton, okay? And like I said, that's only applicable, no, sa mga ginagmay na mga tindahan, okay? Or even ginagmay na mga companies. Okay? Pero what is really common nowadays is what we call as perpetual inventory system. Okay, like the two-bin system, the universal product code, then the point of sale system. So basically, perpetual inventory system, from the word perpetual, okay, this system keeps track of removals from inventory continuously. Okay? Meaning to say, okay, dili periodic iyang pagkang. Every time na naay mawala sa tindahan, when I say mawala, no, naay paliton or makuha sa warehouse for instance, or even sa store, every time na ay kwaon na inventory, it will automatically log in the system na, okay, na may nusan na ni siya og isa ka buok, duha ka buok. Okay? Like, example, when you go to the store, right? Kung mopalit ka sa grocery store og mineral water, okay, pagbayad nimo ana sa cashier, okay, where they use the point of sale system, pag scan ana sa cashier na imo gipalit, automatically sa system mo update na dayon na okay, na may nusa nag isa ka buok na 500 ml nature spring na mineral water. Okay? And then that system usually will tell you na okay, niabot na ta sa 100 na lang ka botilya na mineral water, example. So, let's say nagiset ninyo na kung 100 na lang ka botilya ang mabilin, then that's the time na mo order mo. Okay, that's what's good in the perpetual inventory system, because dili ka maghulat og bulan or simana before you can determine kung pila na lay nabilin. Okay? Real time siya may bawaan kung pila na lay nabilin sa inventory. That's what is good in a perpetual inventory system. Okay, so like I said, there are three types of perpetual inventory system. There is what we call as a two-bin system. So as you can see in the figure here, okay, this two-bin Kanban inventory system, you have two containers, bin 1 and bin 2. Si bin 1 contains items, no? And then kung nakay mga kinahanglan, usually dili na siya applicable sa sa mga grocery stores or mga retail stores. Usually sa mga company ni siya, no, na mag-utilize of mga raw materials or sometimes parts or components. Anyway, bin 1 will contain, or the container 1 will contain items. Okay? And dari ka mo kuha og item. Kung na-example na kay, let's say that item is bolts. Okay? So kung manginahanglan kag bolt, kuha ka dari, okay? Tapos, kung mahurot na ni siya, mag-order dayon. Okay? Dayon, si bin 2 is there. Mura siya o kanang, the bin 2 contains item na once mahurot si bin 1, i-replenish niya ang bin 1. Then, once mabot si order, then, ibutang sa bin 2. And the cycle goes on. Okay? That's the two-bin Kanban inventory system. Then the second inventory counting system is the universal product code. The universal product code is basically a barcode, okay? As you can see on the right, okay? So it's a type of code printed on the product, okay, packaging, so that you will know what type of product is it. Okay, so it contains information on the product. Okay, this code are external product tracking codes that are standardized for universal use by any company. Okay, meaning to say the universal product code is there so that the manufacturer can be able to track, okay, kung asa napadulong ang ilahang product. So kung ma-release na from the manufacturer, kung example, let's say applesauce, okay, let's say na i-distribute na siya to various warehouses, various retail stores, the company itself, the manufacturer itself will be able to know kung asa napadulong ang iyahang mga produkto. That's why, di ba, okay, for instance here, no, ato sa siya istoryahan. So, kaning 0 here, it's just a code to tell you na, oy, 0, that's our grocery product code. Okay, the first 5 number is a code for the manufacturer. In this case, attributed siya sa MOTS daw na company. And then the last 5 numbers here is a code to tell you that is a specific item, which in this case is a natural style applesauce. Okay? So, that's why, di ba, kung, if you notice, kung I don't know kung nakadungog ba mo anang, say tawag, kanang mga news bitaw na mga product recall, okay? And then they will tell you, okay, just look at the product. Example, lata sa gatas. If you remember na ay issue sa una about kanang warag milk yata, powdered milk ba na issue or na something, I think, wrong sa formulation na i-recall nila ang product. And how is that made possible na pwede na to i-recall ang product? It's because of this universal product code. Okay? Kaya unique siya na okay, kana siya gikan na siya ani na manufacturer. Okay, this is the type of product, etc. And other than the product code, napapud na sila other code na ginabutang right kanang sa siya gihimo, date of manufacture, etc. But anyway, the universal product code enables the company to track their products. Okay, and then lastly, the third type of inventory counting system is the point of sale items or POS, which record items at time of sale. Like I said earlier, kung mupalit mo sa grocery store, any retail store, pag magbayad mo, kanang ginascan, pag scan ana, that's what we call as point of sale items or POS. And once every time mo scan ka og product, automatically the system will update na wala na siya na item from the inventory or nakuhaan na ang inventory of that item. Okay? This one is a reading assignment, okay, related to inventory counting. Okay? Okay, the second requirement for inventory management is your knowledge of forecasting and lead time information. Now, anong kailangan ka mo forecast? Or do you even know what it means by forecast? Ang forecast means makatagna ka. Okay, forecast, like weather forecast, matagnaan nimo say weather tomorrow. Here in inventory forecast, you will have that ability to say how much ang demand sa isa ka item. Okay? So, but this is only good for mga finished good, no? Like katong mga independent demand items. Ma-forecast nimo, okay, let's say like katong akong gingon ganina about Lego. Na-forecast nila na by December 40% ang demand. Okay? So that's forecasting. Para makaibalo ka, kung how much raw material ang imong i-stock in order to produce that certain amount of finished product. Okay? And then dapat kaibalo pug ka sa timing, sa lead time. Okay? Like kung mo-order ka karon, pila ka adlaw before mo abot imong order. Okay? That's an important information also when managing inventory. Later on, mas ma-appreciate ninyo siya when we talk about aggregate planning next week. Okay? Kaya na atong topic. The forecast, the lead time are important information so that you can have a good material requirement planning, good master production scheduling. Okay? Okay? Then next, you should have a good estimate of inventory cost. Okay? So we have the purchase cost. Of course, you know what the purchase cost means, right? Kung pila imong ibayad sa isa ka material or item. Okay? Then the holding or carrying cost, muna siya kung always ginayaw-yaw ganina, no? Holding or carrying cost, ako gina siyang i-highlight, no? It relates to cost associated in physically having items in storage. Kung order kag item, you have to hold that in storage. Puta ni mag-warehouse, okay? Usay na siya mga insurance, okay, mga taxes, okay? So dapat kabalo ka pila ang holding or carrying cost. Muna akong gingon ganina sa inyo guys na kung daghan kayo inventory, it will affect your carrying or holding cost. Okay, aside sa warehouse, pwede po na siya no matay up sa mga opportunity cost wherein kung katon tayo mong gibayad sa warehouse or gibayad nimo sa excess inventory, pwede yung tanin mo siya gamiton into another activity. Okay? So ordering cost is the cost of ordering and receiving inventory. So like cost of placing an order, mga inspection cost, pag abot sa pag-abot sa inventory, every time, no, i-inspect man na siya. Then, na siya yung mga documentation cost. Okay? Labor costs for placing the goods received in stock and other types. Okay? So, this cost, usually ordering cost, it's irrelevant siya but from the size of the order. So, mapadaghan o mapagamay, it's ordering cost is there. Always na siya, no? So, that's why kung ginagmay imong order, pero kapila po ka mag-order, dinaghan po ka frequent po ka mag-order, sorry for the frequent ka mag-order, then it will really affect the ordering cost. Okay? Then the shortage cost, okay, it results when demand exceeds the supply of inventory on hand. Basically, the shortage cost is what you call as opportunity cost. Okay, because sometimes if you don't have the amount of inventory needed, then it's a loss of sales. Okay? Mga na din kay usay ka ng nakay charges kay wala nimo na deliver ang exact amount of items, okay? Na po yung mga back order costs and other costs. Okay? Now, the fifth requirement for a good inventory management is your inventory classification. Okay? So basically, what is this ABC approach of inventory classification? It just tells you that in your inventory, you have to classify your inventory according to importance. Okay? So natay mga inventory, natay items na very important, nabutay items na moderately important. We also have items which are least important. So we classify them as A, B, and C items. Okay? Si A items usually, okay, si A items guys, as you can see, no, makita nimo ang iyang importance, okay, based on the annual dollar value. Okay? Kung mahal siya na item, usually it's classified as A item. Okay? Kung dili kayo siya mahal, okay, moderate item lang siya, moderate in amount lang siya, so you call it as B item or moderately important. Then kung barato ra siya guys, okay, meaning it's least important and we called it as C items. Okay? Now, usually si A items katong very important na item, ginagmay lang na siya among the inventory. So let's say na kay 10 types of inventory in your company. Okay? So around 10 to 20% of that inventory items, okay, will be classified as A items. So depende sa company kung mag 10% ba siya, 15%, 20%. But naangana sa range na 10 to 20%. Okay, then ang C items usually around 50 to 60%. Mas daghan type of C items. Okay. So, anong kailangan nato i-classify? Now, the question is, why do we need to classify as A, B, C? Kung ano i-classify nato si very important, tapos katong mga mahalon, ang ato yung i-classify as very important, then katong mga baratuhon as the least important. Okay? Because it all boils down to how we control those inventory. Okay? Meaning to say, no, si A items, di ba? A items are the one which are very important. And in terms of annual dollar, mas mahal siya, pinakamahal. Okay? Therefore, because of that, because it's very important item, taas kay siya in terms of annual dollar value, okay, this item should receive close attention in terms of control. Okay? So you always have to review that, ang iyang amount, unsay level na lang sa iyang amount, and then ang kanyang withdrawal also. Meaning to say, kung ikaw nasa warehouse, na-assign ka sa warehouse, and you should have control, no, over what items are very important or least important. kung very important siya, medyo you have to control the withdrawal. Dili lang kapataka-taka o release ana na item. On the other hand, C items, kay baratuhon naman ni siya ng mga items, okay, sometimes you don't have to control too much, no? Okay, wala kayo kay, dili lang kay ka-concerned, kumbaga, about that kind of item. Pero it does not mean to say because least important siya in terms of annual dollar value, dili na lang din mo ni siya atimanon. No. Ang pasabot lang, ana, is that, it's okay na mawadaan ka ani because barato naman siya. Okay? You can always reorder that anytime. Anytime, okay? Pero the thing is, all of these items are important. Okay? However, dalang siya level of importance. Okay? So example here. You have items 1 to 10. Okay, different types of item ni siya. Naka-item 1, 2, 3, up to 10. Okay, then 10 different inventory items in your company. And for each item, natay annual demand. Okay, let's say item number 1, ang iyang annual demand is 2,500 or 2,500. Then the unit cost of that item is $360. So what you want to do is you have to get the annual dollar value. So what you do, how to get the annual dollar value, you multiply the annual demand times the unit cost. So for item number 1, for instance, here, 2,500 times $360, that will give you 900,000, okay? In terms of annual dollar value, okay? Then you do that for each item, okay? Makuha nimo ang annual dollar value of each item. Then get the total, this will give you this one, no? So kung ay mong tanawon, okay, based on the annual dollar value, you will have a fair idea kung kasi pinakamahal in terms of annual dollar value. And in this case, we have item 8, okay, as the highest in terms of annual dollar value. And then we have item 7, kanisha, item 7, as the lowest in terms of annual dollar value. Okay? So, in order for you to classify the items, okay, you have to arrange them. Okay? You arrange them according to the annual dollar value from highest to lowest. Okay? So, that's why, no, here, you have $40,000, then followed by $12,000, $10,000, $9,000, and so on up to $420. And of course, the $40,000 here is for item number 8. The $12,000 is for item 3, and so on. The $420 is for item 7. Okay, now you can classify. Okay? Matingala mo, ma'am, nga nung na A siya, tapos kung saan pagkaibalo, ma'am, na dari B na siya, saan pagkaibalo na C. Okay? Like I said, di ba, earlier, ang item A, usually, kung sa ganitong item A, mga 10 to 20%. And let's say na ang, sa inyong company, ingon mo na, okay, let's say, ang ato ang, okay, let's say, sa company ninyo nag-decide mo na ang item A, let's say 10% lang siya. Item B, 30%. Then item C, nasa 60%. So, company decision. Okay? Pero, di ba yung ko sa item A, 10 to 20%. So, it's between 10 to 20, mamili ang company. So, let's say in this case, 10% ilang gipili. So, 10% of pila ka buong gani items, 10 items, right? So, 10% of that 10. So, that gives you 1. So, only one item will have a classification of A. Tapos, 3 items will have a classification of B. And then, 6 items will have a classification of C. So, that's why, di ba here, ato naman siya na arrange in descending order. So, in this case, only one item naman ang classification na A. So, naturally, ang katong pinakataas will have the A classification. Kani siya. Gets? Dayon ang 3 items sa mga itong i-B. So, following, kato na yung sunod-sunod, no? So, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, kani siya tulo ang B. And the rest will fall under C dadayon. Okay? Nasabtan? Okay, so this will be the percentage of items. Okay, 10% na siya, kani 30%, then 60. Then the percent of annual dollar value, asa ni gikuha? Basically, you just divide the amount by the total. Okay? So, kani 52.7, kuha na siya, 40,000 divided by 75,910. Kaning 40.8, asa nakuha? Okay? You just sum this. The sum of this. Okay, pila ni? 22 plus 9, 31,000. Ito, no? Sorry. Then, kaning 6.5, kani siya na. I-add ya po na, divide by 75,910. Okay? Questions? Okay. Now, let's go to the last topic, which is the basic economic order quantity. This will now answer your question earlier, how much to order, when to order. Okay? Okay, when we talk about economic order quantity, basically we're talking about the order size that minimizes the total annual cost. Okay? Kasi diba ingon ko ganina, when you order, it's associated with the carrying cost and ordering cost. Kung order kag too much, maapektuhan ang imuhang carrying cost. Kung order po kag too little, maapektuhan ang imuhang ordering cost. So the question is, what is the right amount to order so that minimal ang total annual cost? Ma-minimize ang carrying cost, ma-minimize ang ordering cost. Okay? Now, there are several models that we can use to determine the economic order quantity. The first one, which is to be discussed, is the basic economic order quantity. The second one is what we call as the production economic order. And then the third one is the quantity discount. However, katong last two, dili nato i-discuss. Okay, that's for higher level na. In our course, we will just discuss the basic economic order quantity. Okay, this is the simplest model. And basically, the basic EOQ model is used to identify a fixed order size. Okay? Pangitao na to, unsay fixed order size that will be ordered, so that the sum of the annual cost of inventory and ordering will be minimized. Now, in a basic economic order quantity, we have to make several assumptions. We have 6 assumptions. The first one, only one product is involved. Okay, dili ta pwede magsagol-sagol og product. Isa lang sa. Then, the second one, annual demand requirements are known. Okay, dapat kay balo ka sa demand every year. The third, the demand is spread evenly. Constant ang demand rate. Okay? Kaya balo ka ang pilay ma-consume in a certain period. Then fourth, lead time is known and constant, meaning walay variability. Kung 2 weeks siya, 2 weeks gyud. Kung 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay? And then each order is received in a single delivery. Okay? Meaning, kung order kag 450, dapat ang 450 moabot in one delivery. And then lastly, there are no quantity discounts. Okay, to illustrate, this is the simplest model, Let's say that you have an order size of 350 units. Okay, mo ni siya ang kanang amount that you will order. So, let's say moabot siya, starting at day 0, and that 350 units, guys, will be utilized in 7 days. Pasabot, for every day, you will use 50 units. Kasi 'di ba our assumption is constant ang usage rate. Therefore, constant ni siyang 50 units per day. So every day 50 units magamit. So naturally, the 350 will be depleted or mahulot siya by day 7. Now, because the lead time is 2 days, 2 days before mo abot ang order, okay, meaning to say, before mag-abot ang day 7, 2 days before that, at day 5, dapat mo order na ka. So you place the order here at day 5 so that pag-abot sa day 7, kay 2 days man ang lead time, pag-abot sa day 7 na mahurot na ang imuhang inventory, your order will arrive. Okay? So maabot na imong order. So once you receive the order, of course, mutaas na po dayon, ma-replenish na ang imuhang inventory here. Okay? And the cycle goes on. So you start again with 350 units. Okay, pag-abot sa after 5 days, okay, you order. Then pag-abot sa 7th day, then mahurot imong order. Pero because fixed atong lead time, walay variability, automatically pag nahurot imong inventory, moabot na pod imong order. So ma-replenish siya. Okay? Balik na po dayon sa 350 ang imong inventory. And the cycle goes on. Okay? I hope that's clear. Now, the question is, in a basic economic order quantity, our goal really is to have the optimal order quantity. And by optimal order quantity, it means the quantity that balances the carrying cost and the ordering cost. Dapat equal siya. Okay? So, how do we know na optimal order siya? It's when the carrying cost and the ordering cost is equal. Okay? So, mag-matter good siya. Muna akong inaingon sa inyo ganina, guys. Okay? Let's say here, no, kaning sa first, look at this one. Okay? Here, daghan kay ka order. I mean, ikapila ka mag-order, right? Frequent. Okay? Ang frequency is high sa imong order because ginagmay imong order. Okay? You only order a small amount. So, in order to complete in a year, ang annual demand in a year, you have to make these frequent orders. So, in this case, if this happens, okay, what will really be affected is your ordering cost. Kay kadaghan ka mag-order in a year. Now, ang problem po kung daghan kay imong i-order, so ikapila ra ka mag-order in a year, okay? So, lower imong ordering cost, pero because daghan kay kag i-order, your carrying cost or holding cost will be affected. Okay? So, we don't want either of this. Dili ta ganahan aning duha. What we want is the balance between the two. Okay? So, we wanted an order size that causes neither of this. Okay? So, what we really want is to have this equilibrium. Kani siya. The Q sub O here is what we call as equilibrium or the optimal order. The equilibrium between the carrying cost and the ordering cost. Okay, so before I go further to this, let me discuss the carrying cost. The carrying cost is basically linearly related sa order size. Okay, the higher your order quantity, the higher the cost. Okay, let's say that here, ang imong order 3,000 units. Then dari 1,000. So, imong carrying cost, kung 1,000 na imong order, your carrying cost is somewhere here, ang annual cost nimo. Pero kung order kag dako kayo, 3,000 units, higher siya. Okay? That's just very simple si carrying cost. It's linearly related sa imong order quantity. The higher you order, the higher your cost is. Okay? And the annual carrying cost can be calculated using this formula. This is your order quantity divided by 2 times the carrying cost. On the other hand, baliktad si order si ordering cost. Ordering cost usually, okay, inversely and non-linearly related to order size. Okay, let's say that ang demand, no? Ang demand in a year, ang annual demand is 12,000. Then let's say na 1,000 units lang, no? Imong gina-order per order. So kung 1,000 units imong order per order, isa-isa ka tuig, kapila ka mag-order? Guys? Para makumpleto nimo ang 12,000, pero 1,000 lang imong gina-order in every order, meaning to say you have to order 12 times. Correct?
12 times.
Okay. Pero let's say that 3,000 units imong gina-order per order. So, ikapila ka mo order? 4 times. Okay? So, let's say imong order kay 1,000 here, ani kay 3,000. So, if you order just 1,000 units, look at the annual cost. Taas siya. In terms of ordering. Okay, ordering cost ni siya ha. Pero kung 3,000 units imong i-order, higher ang quantity na imong i-order, your ordering cost becomes lower. Okay? Muna ginay na inversely related siya. Because of this, ang frequency sa imuhang order. The higher the frequency, the higher the cost. So the lower the units, the lower the order quantity, the higher the frequency of order, the higher the cost. Okay? The higher the order, the lower the frequency, the lower the cost. Okay? I hope that's clear. Now, in order to get the annual ordering cost, basically what you do is you divide the demand by the order quantity times the ordering cost. Okay? Now, what we really want, diba? As I have mentioned earlier, what we really want is the equilibrium. Okay, the equilibrium is where your annual ordering cost and your annual carrying cost will meet. Okay, this point here. At this point na nakita si carrying cost nimo and si ordering cost nimo, that's what we call as equilibrium, and that point there, okay, is what we call as the optimal order quantity. And the optimal order quantity is that is the size, the order size, wherein your cost will be at a minimum. Okay, and to do that, you can calculate that by getting that square root of 2 times the demand times the ordering cost divided by the carrying cost. This is the formula to get the optimal order quantity based on the basic economic order quantity model. Okay, and then to get the length of order cycle, meaning the time between orders, just simply divide the order quantity divided by the demand. Okay? To illustrate, para mas masabdan. Okay. Here, this is the last slide. Ayun ang kabalaka. Medyo taasin siya. A local distributor for a national tire company expects to sell at approximately 9,600 steel belted tire. So the 9,600 here is the demand. Okay? And the annual carrying cost is $16 per hour per tire. Annual carrying cost. So this is your H. And the ordering cost is $75. So this is your S. Okay? And the distributor operates 288 days a year. So the first question is, what is the EOQ? Or the economic order quantity? Sometimes EOQ can also be your Q sub O, your optimal order. So, EOQ or Q sub O, diba, by formula is square root of 2 times DS over H. So, just plug in the values 2 times the demand is 9,600. Ano siya? The ordering cost is $75, kani. And then the carrying cost is $16. Okay? So, you calculate that will give you 300 tires. Meaning to say, the optimal order size is 300 tires. Kung mag-order ka, just order 300 tires. Now, because You need 9,600 tires in a year. That's the annual demand. You just simply divide the 9,600 by the 300. It means to say, you will have to order 32 times in a year para makumpleto nimo ang demand na 9,600. Understood? Okay, so the number of orders per year is D over Q. That's demand divided by the order quantity. So 9,600 divided by 300 tires, it will give you 32 orders. Now the third question, what is the length of the order cycle? By formula, the length of order cycle is Q over D. Baliktad aning sa letter B. Okay, so 300 tires divided by 9,600, that gives you 1 over 32 a year. Pero because lisod man kayo siya i-quantify, let's multiply that by 288. So 1 over 32 times 288, that gives you 9 working days. So meaning to say, every 9 working days, you need to order 300 tires. That's the time between order or the length of order cycle. And lastly, you wanted to get the total annual cost if the economic order quantity is ordered. So basically, the total cost is the carrying cost plus the ordering cost with this formula. Okay? And if you gonna plug in the values, Q is 300 divided by 2 times 16 plus 9,600 over 300 times 75. That gives you 2,400 plus 2,400, which gives you $4,800. So the $4,800 is the total annual cost. Okay? Once you order the optimal size, which is 300 tires in this case. Okay? Understood? That's the economic order quantity. Okay? And that's the end of this class. Do you have questions? If you want to read more, know more, wala mo yung nasabdan to, you can always read this part of the book, no? Which I have shared to you. Questions, everyone? Wala na may naningog. So I think everything is clear. I have shared this slide already in the use step. Kindly access the use step later on for your assignment. Okay? You have questions, guys?
Wala na, ma'am.
Okay. If none, thank you for attending this